As you read the Bible, it's easy to get confused over the timeline of events. After all, the Bible is a complex book that covers a lot of history. It's also easy to miss some important details in the Bible because of the cultural differences between the world Jesus knew and the world you know. I'd like to spend this entire session making sure you see this. Consider it a foundational lesson for the rest of our time together. We know a lot about this last week of Jesus' life. Some would say we know more about this last week than we do about the rest of Jesus' life put together. We even know some very small details, like the story of a man carrying water through the streets of Jerusalem. This man had a room Jesus wanted to use for the Passover meal. You probably know that meal as the Last Supper. And speaking of cultural differences, I would not be surprised if you have never experienced a Passover meal. Oh, I hope you do and you get it done soon. It's an amazing experience. As for the man who offered his room for Jesus to use, we could have skipped this part of the story and never missed a beat. But the trauma of the crucifixion caused the followers of Jesus to remember every tiny detail that led up to his execution. They must have talked about that last week for years. A man carrying water would have been quite unusual, by the way. Normally, women did this. Hey, there's another cultural difference. It's a small detail, but it serves to underscore the point. I will say it again. A lot has changed in the past 2,000 years. It's likely no one in your life, not a man, not a woman, has ever carried water on a daily basis. But in that culture, in that day, when Simon, Peter, and John went into the city, they spotted a man carrying water easily. We don't know why this man was doing this chore. We only know that he must have been a follower of Jesus. He gladly prepared his home for his guest. As for the timeline, all of this happened on Thursday. Mark tells us it was the first day of the festival of unleavened bread. This is when the lambs were sacrificed for the Passover meal. The meal would have come later that night, and there is no indication whatsoever in any of the four Gospels that Jesus ate the Passover meal earlier than the rest of his community. When the lambs were slaughtered, they needed to be prepared quickly. There's no refrigeration in those days. So if the meal is coming that evening, on Thursday evening, the lambs were prepared earlier on that same day. Now, after the meal on Thursday night, Jesus will go to the Garden of Gethsemane with 11 of his disciples and pray. That's where Judas will show up with a large crowd of armed men. Jesus will be arrested and imprisoned for the rest of the night, and the next day, on Friday, he'll be crucified. Mark and the other gospel writers tell us that the day Jesus was executed was the day before the Sabbath, or Shabbat. The day before Shabbat is Friday. To restate the main point of this lesson, when there is confusion over the timeline of these events, it's often because of cultural differences, amplified by the fact that some 2,000 years have passed since these events took place. Maybe the biggest example of this: the Jewish day begins and ends at sundown. Now, we think of days starting at midnight, especially on a night like New Year's Eve. The clock hits 12, you've got a new day, a new year. But from a practical standpoint in our culture, we also think of a new day when we simply wake up. But in Jewish life, especially in the culture Jesus knew, a new day began when the sun went down. Each evening marked the start of a new day. This means the Passover meal did not happen on Thursday night, as perhaps you and I would think of it. Because it's after sundown, in the minds of that Jewish community, the meal happened on Friday. And this would turn out to be Good Friday. Think of it. The Lamb of God died in the same 24-hour period that had begun with a Passover lamb at the center of every table in Jerusalem. You know, I'm sure Mark and the other writers of the gospel would be amazed that I'm even talking about a timeline or that you are interested in it. But you know, our culture is intensely focused on time. We want to know the exact order of everything that happened to Jesus on this last week of his life. When important historic events take place in our culture, We want video footage. We want minute-by-minute records. If a national leader today is assassinated, we may study the second-by-second details for years or even decades. But Mark and the other writers of the Gospels were not from our time, and they were not from our culture. Mark had just one motive in writing his Gospel. He wanted you to know about Jesus. The other writers of the Gospels agreed. Have you read the Gospel of John? John said this, Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book. But these are written that you might believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. That's Mark's point too. He's written that you might believe, not that you might build a perfect timeline of events. So as we go through these important last few passages of Mark's Gospel, I want you to keep that in mind. You will never create a perfect harmony of events in the Gospels. You will never have all of your questions answered about all of the things that happened. But you can comprehend what happened. Your life can be profoundly changed because of these events. So, keep your eyes on Jesus as he moves toward the cross. He has at this point 24 hours left to live. As Mark would tell us, this is no time for us to be distracted.